Hello, it is Whovian Monday, my penultimate Whovian Monday, and today I am talking about Dark Water, the 11th episode of Doctor Who Series 8. As always, but even more so than usual, do not watch this if you haven't seen the episode. Major spoilers are about to be revealed, so if you haven't seen it, save yourselves. The episode starts with Clara calling Danny whilst he is walking through a park. She is ready to tell him everything, but first she tells him that she loves him. And then there is silence on the other end. A long silence. And then a strange woman comes on the line. She says she is sorry, she has just picked up the phone, he was crossing the road, the car came out of nowhere. And then we have the aftermath, an amazing sequence where we see Clara running to the scene, Clara, an unspecified amount of time later, just standing in the road. Some flowers and messages at the side of the road, an announcement at school about Mr. Pink's death. And then Clara is in her kitchen trying to call the doctor, but he's not picking up. Her gran is there and Clara tells her that she is owed better. Then the doctor finally picks up. Clara acts like nothing has happened. The doctor asks what he can do for her, and then off Clara's look we go to the credits. I found this to be a really moving and well done opening sequence. Danny's death had a lot of power for me because it happened off screen. After the credits we flash back and forth between two scenes. We have Clara entering the TARDIS and asking the doctor to take her to a volcano. She is collecting all of the TARDIS keys as she goes and a sleep patch. And then we have the doctor waking up at the volcano outside of the TARDIS, having been drugged with the sleep hatch, and Clara threatening to throw all 7 of the TARDIS keys into the lava if he doesn't take her to save Danny. The doctor refuses and Clara eventually throws all of the keys away. This was an amazing scene between those two. When Clara is done, she is distraught, but she says she would do it again. The doctor tells her to look in her hand where she sees the sleep patch. He says it isn't a sleep patch, it induces a dream state and makes you suggestible. He let the scenario play out to see how far she would go, but actually they're fine, and they're in the TARDIS, and all of the TARDIS keys are safe. The doctor is now going to take them to wherever people go where they die, and if at all possible they will bring Danny home. Clara wants to know why he is helping her, after all that she did. The doctor says that she let him down, but do you think I care for you so little that betraying me would make a difference? One of my favourite lines in the episode. They use the TARDIS telepathic interface, which is the thing where Clara puts her hands into the gooey panel bit of the TARDIS, so the TARDIS will take them to wherever their timelines reconvene, and then the TARDIS takes off. She obviously thinks that Danny is somewhere. And then we cut to Danny in Seb's office, Seb being the guy played by Chris Addison, quite slimily. Seb offers him some tea, he asks Danny to fill out some forms, he wants to know if Danny is due to be cremated. He says that Danny is dead and this is what's next, the underworld, the nethersphere, the promised land, the place you go when you die. Meanwhile, the doctor and Clara have landed. They seem to be in a mausoleum with water tanks against the wall, and the tanks have skeletons in. They meet Missy, who snogs the doctor, and he is quite taken aback by this. She says she is a welcome droid there to help them. They are at the 3W Institute, an organisation working to provide a better life for the deceased. The doctor wants to speak to whoever is in charge. Missy says that her heart is maintained by the doctor, and gets him to feel her heartbeat. The doctor says, "Doctor Who?" He says the thing. And then they meet Dr. Chang, who asks if there is a particular dead person they want to speak to, and he takes them to his office. Back with Danny and Seb, Danny is feeling a bit cold. Seb wants to know if Danny has ever killed anyone, and Danny flashbacks to his time as a soldier when he accidentally killed a child. That child now wants to meet him, and they have that meeting, but the child runs off. Back at Chang's office, there is another skeleton in a tank. We discover that the tank is full of dark water, through which only organic matter can be seen. The skeleton has a support mechanism, but we can't see it through the water. The doctor asks what 3W stands for, and Chang says it stands for 3 words. He plays a recording of white noise played through a translation matrix. We hear the voices of the dead and a voice saying the 3 words, "Don't cremate me." The dead remain conscious. Back with Danny, Seb explains further. He says that Danny is in his new body, in his new world, but he is still connected to his old body in his old world and can feel what it feels, which is why he is feeling cold. There is a call on Seb's iPad and Clara and Danny can talk to each other. The doctor wants Clara to find out if Danny actually is Danny. The skeleton in Chang's office stands up, but they don't notice. The doctor and Chang leave the room. The doctor wants to check out the stacks again because he thinks he is missing something obvious. The doors close and the symbols on them look just like a Cyberman's eyes. The little circles with the little teardrops. That bit made me laugh out loud, I loved it. Missy pushes a button and all the dark water starts to leave the tanks, and the skeletons are now all standing up. The Doctor and Chang are now there with her. Chang says that Missy isn't a welcome droid, she is his boss, and then she kills him. The dark water drains past the skull of the skeleton, and the Doctor sees that they are actually Cybermen. Missy shows him the nether sphere, which the Doctor knows is actually like a Gallifreyan hard drive. Missy says that dying minds are uploaded to it, and then they are then downloaded to the upgraded bodies. Missy says she is a time lady, which the Doctor felt because he felt her 2 hearts beating. The Doctor escapes the building, with Missy following, and discovers that they are actually in St Paul's Cathedral in central London. Back with Clara, she wants Danny to tell her something that only he would know. If she knows it is him, she will come and get him, but Danny doesn't want her to come because there's only one way she's getting there. He says he loves her, and Clara is frustrated and says that she'll hang up if he says it again, so he says it again. And she hangs up. Seb says that they can help Danny with all of these difficult feelings. He hands Danny back the iPad, which has a button on it saying delete, which Danny can press. Clara turns around and discovers the Cyberman, which used to be a skeleton in a water tank behind her. She tries to leave, but she is trapped in the room. The Cybermen are now leaving St Paul's Cathedral, and the Doctor is trying to get people to run away, but Missy says it's far too late. The dead outnumber the living. The Doctor asks who she is. She says Missy is short for the Mistress. She couldn't very well go on calling herself the Master now, could she? And then the episode ends with Danny's finger hovering over the delete button and a reflection of the child that he killed in the screen. What did you think about this episode? I liked it overall. I was a little bit disappointed. I think this episode is a very good study in how a story can lose its power if it is predicted or teased. I think there were 3 big reveals, big ooh moments in this episode, and I felt like they were on a scale. The first one was Danny's death. That was the big pre-credits wow moment, the big surprise, and this was, I found, the most successful at surprising me, at pulling the rug out from under me. I didn't know it was coming. The second one is the reveal of Missy being the Master. I think that everyone involved in Doctor Who did a very good job of keeping Missy's identity quiet. I appreciated the job they did of making sure that the revelation only came when she revealed it herself in the episode. But Missy being the Mistress, being the Master, was one of the more popular theories as to who Missy was. The rug wasn't pulled out from under me, although I didn't know she was the Master. It was one of the ideas I had as to who she was. I mean, this was my own fault. The reveal still had power, but not as much. It was diluted by my own constant analysing as to who she could be. And the last reveal was the Cybermen. The reveal of the Cybermen was so cool, with the water level going down and the Cyberman gradually being revealed. The fun thing with the doors and the logo having the eyes on. But that reveal was completely ruined by the fact that all of the publicity for the episode and the next time on Doctor Who thing last week, it was all about this episode and the next being Cyberman episodes. There was no pulling the rug out from under me at all, because the rug was nailed down by the show itself. And this was a shame because, as I say, the reveals of the Cybermen were really cool. And just think how awesome it would have been if we hadn't had confirmation from the show itself that this was going to be a Cyberman episode. I mean, I know that there'd probably be pictures online somewhere of filming and there'd be Cybermen on set, and it would be possible to find out that this was a Cyberman episode. But it would have had a lot more power if it hadn't been a major part of the publicity for these 2 episodes. I'd also heard a lot about the Cybermen being outside St Paul's Cathedral, so I'd kind of known they were in St Paul's Cathedral as well, so that was a shame. I guess what I'm saying is that I personally want Stephen Moffat and everyone involved in Doctor Who to troll me. I want red herrings. I don't want a major reveal to be revealed to me before it is actually revealed in the episode. There were some good ideas, it was extremely well directed, there were some wonderful performances. I thought Michelle Gomez's performance was fantastic. She's a great actress, I have a lot of time for her as an actress, and she's great at portraying that madness and unpredictability that the Master requires. And overall I'm pretty happy with the Master being back and being female, and I'm interested to see where she and the show goes with it in the next episode. There were 2 moments which I found really interesting and useful in helping me to understand the Doctor. The first was when Clara told him that Danny had died and the Doctor said, and Clara was like, are you seriously saying and to me? But the Doctor said again, and. But I didn't think it was said in a callous, and this is important why. It was said in a more, you're not just telling me this as a courtesy, you're not telling me this because it is a thing that you want me to know. There is something extra here which I don't know about yet and you are about to tell me, so tell me now. And the other one was that line, do you think I care for you so little that betraying me would make a difference? Because he does care, he's just not so good at, as comfortable with, as appreciative of the human stuff as some of his previous incarnations in the recent past have been. I just found those to be very interesting and important parts of the Doctor's characterisation this series. So yeah, I liked this episode. There were interesting things in it. There were some uncomfortable things in it, but I found it a little bit disappointing. The next episode, episode 12, is Death in Heaven, and my hopes are high for it being a good conclusion to this story and also to the series as a whole. And what I'm going to do for this episode is I'm not going to speculate about it. Unfortunately, although there wasn't a next time on Doctor Who at the end of this episode of Doctor Who, there were some clips from episode 12 in the next time on Doctor Who on episode 10 of Doctor Who. So I'm going to have to try and forget what was revealed in that. What I want from this next episode of Doctor Who is for the rug to be pulled out from under me so often that I am covered in cuts and bruises by the end of it. Is that too much to ask? Anyway, let me know what you thought about this episode of Doctor Who. Please don't let me know what you think is going to happen in the next episode of Doctor Who. I hope you have a good day and see you tomorrow.